Welcome to the China International Supply Chain Expo, the first edition in Chinese history for an exhibition only about the supply chain. And behind me is the exhibition hall only about the new, also about the new energy and about the clean energy. And so today it's my great pleasure to invite you for a trip with me to go inside to explore what are the companies that are actually on show inside and what are the cutting edge products, technologies, and innovation that we can see together about the green development and also about the solar energy, about the wind power, about the grid, about the power storage. So here we can explore together different products, different technologies, and also different experiences. And it's also a warm welcome to all of you guys joining us online, whether on WeChat, on Weibo, on Facebook, or on YouTube, or even on Twitter. Please do leave us messages, and I think we will have colleagues that can respond to you online. So we are entering this hall only for the green energy part. So when talking about the green energy and when talking about the supply chain, we cannot emphasize anymore the importance of the supply chain today. And in the world with ever-changing incidents coming, in a world also with some kind of uncertainties in the energy supply, in all the different innovations to come. And so behind me is a stand and also an press about renewable energy, especially for its winter and for its wind energy. It's my great pleasure to be joined by Cici. Hello, Cici. It's very nice to meet you.
Hi, Shanhui. Nice to meet you here.
So we are actually entering in this exhibition hall, and you are the first stand that we see. What are the specialties that you offer here? What can we see about the new technologies that you are bringing this time?
Sure. So let me introduce semi-renewable energy firstly. So we are the manufacturing of the wind turbine company, and we are also focused on committing to providing the integrated solution of new energies. And semi-renewable energy right now is at the top 10 OEM rank in the world.
So I see actually behind us is about wind power, wind energy, right?
Yes.
So you're the top 10?
Yes, we're right now the top 10 in the world.
So what are the specialties? If you're top 10 in the world, I'm thinking it should be some secrets behind it, either in its fabrication or its innovation. What can we see here today? What innovations have you brought here?
Sure, as you can see over here, it is the model of the wind turbine of Sany. We have just released a 922 platform during the CWP this year that it contains a very large megawatt turbine. For onshore one, we can reach 14 megawatt, and for the offshore one, we can reach 15 megawatt. So by using the light-weighted design and also the double-mounted transformer on the top of the nacelle technology, we can provide the large megawatt wind turbine to all of our customers.
The larger turbine for all your customers. And what about your market? You are now only focusing on Chinese market, and or also about international market?
So sure, we have a setup of our layout all over the world. We not only focus on the Asia market, but also we have the setup of Africa, Europe, and the South America.
Okay, so let's take a look about this turbine. So here we have this, and you told me that there was a storage somewhere behind it, a part that can store the energy produced.
Yes, because we have the key components manufactured ourselves. As you can see, for a wind turbine, it has 3 core components. The first one is the generator, second one is the gearbox, and the third one is the blade. And over here,
let's go come to check the blade. I think this is part of the blade that is demonstrated here.
Yeah, sure.
So what we can see, what's this part? I'm very curious about what this is used for.
So this is actually a fragment of the blade.
Sure.
So as you can see, we applied the blade ourselves and made it in-house. So it helps us to have the supply chain controlling in our hand. And we also use it to reduce our cost.
How do you reduce your cost?
Because we have a light-weighted design, so we can reduce the material costs, and also we have
Lightweight design means that it should not be very heavy, right?
yes, it is
Okay,
very light.
let me take a try about.
No problem.
But this is still, I mean, heavy for me to bring this up. But for the turbine is the lighting one, right?
Yes, because a whole blade can reach 104 meters long, so it is actually very large. And this is only a fragment of a real one, so it should be like lighter than other blades. But
What's the advantages when you have a part that's light?
the advantages is that we can reduce our costs when we are buying the materials. By the lighter design, we can just buy like less materials. So we
Less materials, but I mean, what about when we talk about the wind power, wind energy? We're always talking about, as all our spectators know, that we're talking about also the green development. So when we have blades that's lighter than other blades, what are the advantages?
So that means we can use less money to advance the backdrop of 3060 green energy and double carbon policy.
Double carbon policy. Okay. And so it costs less for transportation?
Yes, it costs less, and it costs less for the labor and also the manufacturer.
Okay, perfect. It's actually my first time in my life experience to see a blade or a component of blade. It's not the whole blade, it's just one part of it. Right?
Yeah, it's just a little part of it.
Okay, perfect. And so you've told me that there is also other things that we can see, we can explore. It's about some innovations that you're offering this time and trying to get in touch with the public, right?
Mm-hmm. That's why we're here. And we also have the highest level of advanced intelligent manufacturing.
Oh, I see this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is actually an illustration of the automatical design and automatical fabrication.
Yes, we use the robotic arms to assemble the huge hub.
So that's more about intelligent fabrication. And what about the energy in itself? When we're talking about the wind power energy, how has this contributed to the Chinese energy market?
So the wind energy can be used, like reused, so we call it renewable energy. So we don't need to destroy the environment to apply it. And we can also apply the electricity that generated by the wind turbine to the grid. So everybody using the renewable energy could have the electricity in their house, and every single electricity of it could help us to make the world greener.
Can help us to make the world greener. And what about the world? When we're talking about the industry, it's not only about Chinese markets, it's also about the whole world market. So are you exporting? Are you also in contact with your clients outside of China, overseas? What's their weakness? What's their expectations of Chinese fabricants?
I believe that the world expects that Chinese wind turbine could provide the most cost-efficient price to them, and also they could have the highest level quality products in their country and provide the green energy to the world.
Perfect. It's very nice to have talked to you, and thank you again for sharing us information. So we have just explored part of the wind energy, which is very important in all about the clean energy, because when we're talking about clean energy, automatically we're talking about clean energy, about wind energy, solar energy, and also about the electrical one. How can we generate from solar system, from the wind system, from the nature, different kind of power, and how can we store it? So first, this is what we just visited for a wind power company, and just beside me, this is the CATL. It's very famous and also very known here in China and also around the world for the production of its battery. So today, apart from this first wind energy stand, I also show you the fabrication of energies and also the fabrication of batteries. Not only batteries, but how the energy will be stored, how the energy will be used, and how the battery will be recycled. So today in the whole emission, we are going to visit different stands that will actually each stand providing us information or a certain technology inside the green development. So here we're in front of the Ningde Shidai, the CATL part. And it's very interesting because there are many demonstrations that are actually demonstrated here, and we can see people behind me, and they have also many interactive experience behind me. So one thing I'm very curious about the CATL is their battery design and also their cutting edge innovation technology. So here I am in the stand, and what actually interested me the most, is this part. I'll come to show you. Please come here. So actually you can see that when we talk about the electrifications, perhaps this is interesting to demonstrate to all our audience, is that when we talk about electrification today in China, it's not only about electrification in its energy supply, but also about the uses in different scenarios. For example, it can be vessel electrifications that's already today applicated in China. And it's also about mining, how you can use the mechanical system to do some intelligent, smart mining, and also to control it, and also 100% electric one. And you have also here, I find it interesting, is about the EvoGo fast battery swap station, about the electrification of logistics zones, and also about the after-service zone, the energy storage power, transmission and distribution power, and also the CGE, the solar and wind power generation, and also about the airport electrification. Is it possible perhaps for us to imagine that one day everything will be electric, everything will be managed intelligently, so that there will be zero carbon print for the development of an economy, even for development of a commune? So that would be interesting, a very interesting prospects for us. But this is already part of the reality today in China. When we go to the airport, when we go to different scenarios in China, we can see that the electrical part and the electrification process is going on. And there's also the other thing that I find interesting is about the battery part, how the battery is actually used, and also what are the new innovations about battery today that we can have a look. I was actually attracted by this model. So I actually asked some salesperson here, and I got introduced that actually all of the blue part that you can see here, this part is the part that can lower down the temperature of the whole car. And what about this one? This red part is the electric. This is the electric flow. So how this works? I asked many people yesterday. I came here and I was wanting to know more about this issue and know more about how the battery is actually used and also is actually fabricated. I found it very interesting because when we have a good battery, we can actually use this to be the motor of a beautiful car, and then it can go like different places and to a very high distance, very high range of distance. So what this works? I asked the question and I got the answer. So basically, here's the plug. So you put the electricity here. So you got the flow of the electricity, and these flow of electricity will actually go in this way, entering inside this storage part and produce energy, and the energy is coming back to the motor that actually can push the car forward. So this I find it very interesting, and I was told that a battery like this here, it can be actually charged in a very, very short delay. In 30 minutes, for 30 minutes of charging, you can go very, very far. And also, if I remember it well, for 10 minutes of charging, you can already go for 400 kilometers, as I was told by the salesperson here. So I found it interesting to find that today we've got batteries, especially for the power batteries, that can be charged in a very short delay, can be charged for 10 minutes for 400 kilometers. Wow, that would be interesting for us to imagine the future of Chinese transportations. So let's go forward and to explore more about the high-end technologies. We've just covered the battery part, we covered the wind part, the wind energy part, and later on I was asking myself this question, is that when you have a car, that you can imagining a car soaring on the road in China or in the US or everywhere in the world, and from the time that you don't have much energy, what will you do? So I think naturally you will stop your car and you try to find a power station, but not power station for gas, not a power station for petroleum, a power station for electric cars. So here beside me we have another stand, this green one. So let's go to explore this green one. I find it interesting to show you because yesterday I spent a long time here trying to see different technologies that they bring us here. So my question is that once we have a car that needs to get charged, what shall we do? So naturally, let's come to this stand. And there's also an interactive part, interactive equipment that we can explore together. And now I'm joined by Mr. Wang. 你好，你好，你好。请您给我们介绍一下，这个实际上是一个充电桩，对不对？
一个光储充一体的，光储充一体的充电站的解决方案。
光储充一体的。So I asked him what this is behind me. He told me that this is an equipment for the power charging, but not for the power charging traditional ones, but the power charging with the solar energy. So how this works? 光储充电，所以它的光能是从哪里来呢？
光伏发电是
好。
经过我们这个有一个。
Actually, there's a photovoltaic board on the top of it. On the top of it, and
然后通过逆变器，然后储存在这个
and there's
储能
a
电源里。
converter here, and the converter will store the
然后
energy.
通过逆变器，然后储存到这个储能电源，闭挂式的储能电源。
然后这个电源再通过充电桩供电。OK。
就可以给汽车充。
好的。然后 so this is the very classic one that we can see. But on the same time, what's interesting is that这个是100%的可以用太阳能来充电的，对不对？
这个要看具体条件。如果要是这个光伏板的发电的功率足够大，就可以100%的用绿电来。
It could be 100% possible to actually rely solely on the solar energy and to generate electricity, and with a good storage of the electricity, you can later supply the electricity to different cars. So here I've seen two possibilities to get charged. 我这个怎么把它拿下来？好，把它插上去，所以这样的话就可以充电了。
对，插到车上面。
插到车上面。
对。
所以目前的在中国的这种充电桩的大概有多少个这种类型的充电桩？
像直流快充桩的话，现在中国已经基本上覆盖到乡镇一级了。总的保有量已经超过600万台。
600万台了。There's already more than 6 million storage points like this in China, in different cities and also in villages. So it's interesting to see how this will still in the future to be generated in different parts of China, so that one car can go anywhere in China with storage, with possibilities to add electricities as we add petroleum in our daily life. So what's interesting also I find is that it's easy actually to use. And also 这个可以自助用吗？还是说这个是要有一个专门的去加电工去加它？
这个正常使用是自助的，车主自己就可以启动充电，然后
自己充了。So this is also you can help yourself to get more electricity for your car, to add electricity effectively for your car. 然后这个实际上是以这个
交流家用的一个交流充电宝。
我也可以把它拿下来，对不对？然后实际上这个是用充电的。
对。
OK。
这个是，然后点击这个，然后就可以充电，然后或者是用二维码扫一下，微信、支付宝扫。
所以这个也是可以自便，大家可以人工的自助的。Okay. Yesterday you were telling me that this is mostly used in China, and this one can be used in Europe. 您说这个部分主要是在中国的可以使用的，这一部分是在欧洲也可以使用。
都可以，
都可以在欧洲使用。
按照欧洲的标准来做的，主要是这个接口跟通信协议是有不同的标准。目前全球的主要的标准就是一个中国的国标，还有一个美国的标准，就是特斯拉主导的一个美国的标准。
好，所以我们这两个内容，我们这两个机器都是中国加美国的标准。So behind me, actually, you can see the two possibilities to charge. Both are actually suitable for Chinese norms and also for American norms, which means that I imagine these two products can be internationalized and can be open to the whole international market. 目前您的这些内容产出的器件，这些充电桩在其他的国家有销售吗？
目前我们是以中国的市场为主，然后欧洲市场目前是在意大利有跟我们的合作伙伴一直在开拓意大利的市场。在东南亚这一块的话，我们是跟马来西亚那边也有一个合作伙伴。
Okay. So it's explaining me that they're mainly focusing on Chinese market, but also they have market also in Italy and in Malaysia and Asia. So it was very nice and interesting to see how the green energy can then later on generate more green energy, how their solar power energy can actually generate electricity and then feed the electricity cars. So that's actually from zero to end, from A to Z, the 100% electrical one. 然后我们还要去另外一个地方是去看看太阳能的储能和发电。It was interesting, right, to have explored how this is used and how the EV, the electric vehicles, are actually supplied by the electricity. And there's another part that I find interesting is the solar energy. As you remember that what we have explored just now, that the electricity was generated by the solar power with the solar power panels just upside on the top of the pillar, on the top of the station. And now we are in front of a very interesting board. I don't know what it is. I will ask. 这个是什么？
这是我们公司新研发的那个柔性的光伏组件。
柔性的光伏组件。
有一定的，就是材料可以做得很薄，然后有一定的弯曲度。
Okay. So this is a flexible solar panel. 麻烦您帮我们拿一下这个。This is, I would actually want to give it a try. 这个是一个柔性的，所以实际上是可以折叠的。Pliable.
这边有折叠的，这个是
So this is
可以做一个很大的弯曲度。
Oh, interesting. So how can we use this? In what kind of scenarios can we use this kind of technology? I imagine where we have sunlight, and also I imagine that where it's suitable. So where exactly? 我们在哪些地方可以应用到这个内容？
这一款产品主要是针对一些表面不是很平整的，就是像屋顶呀，像一些建筑物的外立面呀，对，而且比较轻，可能就对高层建筑可能也不会有太大的影响。
So he told me that these kind of solar power panel and also flexible one can use in the surface that's not quite even, and also can be used like on the top of a tent, so that this can generate automatically solar power and can generate the electricity. I mean, absolutely, you need to have sunlight. And what about the efficiency? 这个它的 供电的效率是多少？
光电转换效率目前我们能达到23%，最高。
23%. The efficiency is 23%. So how do we interpret this 23%? What does it mean, the 23%? It actually means that for the solar power energy, for the sum of the sunlight that you can receive, there's 23% of it is transient later to electricity and can be stored or used directly. 谢谢，非常感谢您。而且同时，我记得还有另外一点，就是您之前讲它的这个环保属性。
对，这个是环保属性。对，我们这个基本这个光伏板的基材用的是一个可降解的一个工程树脂，这一块就是对于它20年以后的寿命终点之后，我们可能去回收处理，又是一个很好的一个应用。就是这种工程树脂，我们把它降解以后。
So this is biodegradable. This is biodegradable for its material, right? And when it's biodegradable, and also it's actually in plastic. So after that, it can be used for 20 years, as was said to me by Mr. Wang. And in 20 years, the whole part of it can be biodegraded, which is kind of environmental friendly solution actually for the power generation, for the solar power generation. 谢谢您，非常感谢。好。So let's continue our visit. It's been very interesting, right? About the generations, about electricity, how the electricity was actually generated by different solutions from the sunlight. And then how this is stored, how this is used, how this can give more motivations and give more energy to cars, to those EVs. And we are now arriving on another stand that I find it interesting to show you, because we've talked about how the electricity was generated, but how are they stored? How are they stored and how this can be used? I just forgot my notebook there. 你好，这个是我们是一个储能的一些展示。好，你好，然后那个先给我们介绍一下，您这边对用英文吧还是？ So I'll ask him to give us a brief introduction about what they are doing, and also especially how they can solve the problem of the electrical and electricity storage. 给我们讲讲 what about the 储能?
We are the manufacturer of the energy storage system. Both that is the residential ESS, and this one is the commercial and industrial energy storage system. But for this one is used for the power station. It's called the utilities energy storage system.
Okay, so this is just a module. It's just,
just a module.
Example to show how
It's about 20 feet continent. It's a bigger size.
I can imagine it's very large.
Yes, it is very large.
Okay, so where can we use these kind of storage system? In which places that we can use?
Which place? The photovoltaic the power station, because they can store in the clean energy generated by the photovoltaic system.
Okay.
The capacity is more than the 4,000 kilowatt hours, and another type is more than 2,500 kilowatt hours.
Okay, wow, that's huge actually.
Yeah, it's a
and
huge one.
These two are the real design and the real products, right?
It's the residential energy storage.
Residential energy storage.
Yeah, for the house. Because in the USA or Europe, they have a lot of house. They can use the residential energy system in the home, and they can save the money by storing the clean energy.
Okay, by green energy. So, which means that to save the energy and to store the energy here, you can store the electricity generated by the solar panels, right?
Yes, you are right.
How, like, for example, I imagine a family in Switzerland, or a family, I don't know, in France, or a family in the US with 6 people.
6 people.
And how long can they use with?
If you use the 20 kilowatt hours, maybe you can use the 3 to 5 days. I think it will be enough.
Days?
Yeah, I think so.
3 Monday to Fridays, but in condition that there is sunlight.
Yes, the sunlight.
It's
Of
the crucial
course.
part.
Exactly.
Okay, perfect. So this is for the family use, and this is for the factory use.
For the house as well, but different the types. Because the one is an easy one. You can see just in the battery inside, but this one is the high voltage the battery. Because each model has a 5 kilowatt hours, but we build in the DC-DC model inside to input the voltage from the 15.2 voltage to the 400.
Okay, that's very adjustable
Yes.
for people who actually want to use it. Is it more like used in China or in other places?
Usually this one use for the overseas, like the USA or Europe.
Because I think in China, actually, even in the villages or commune,
Yes.
there have already a public supply chain or a public supply channel for all those villagers, right?
Yes, you are
So
right.
they don't really need this kind of thing. in
The
China.
Chinese family, we don't need that one.
I imagine you need to have an independent supply channel or
Yes.
independent supply needs that you will need to have these kind of machine actually.
Yes, you are right.
Okay, perfect. It's very nice and thank you very much. So let's go forward and to explore other possibilities. So we've just explored how we can use with the electricity storage, and let's go forward a little bit more to have a look at other possibilities in the using of electricity. So let's go forward. Actually, you can see around me there's lots of stands from different part of China, and there are also some stands actually from the US, from Europe. I find it interesting to see that there are many possibility, and I've been talking about with many people around yesterday and today. I find that people are more curious about this industry, and especially in the electricity supply. So let's go to that place, if I remember well, about storage, but also about the recycle of the battery, the recycle of all the electronical materials, how the electrical materials are actually recycled. My question is that we've took a look about wind power, about solar power, and also about the energy storage part. Then once the battery dies, or once the battery like achieved 10 years or 20 years, what it will become? And will this create more pollution? What are the new solutions for it? So here I am in another stand that gives these possibilities to answer this question. How can we recycle batteries? How can we recycle different components so that it contributes for zero carbon footprints for the nature? So let's take a look about this storage of new energy technology. So I can see that here is an illustration about power. How from a car we can actually go into... Okay, let me check with some person if there's somebody who can give us some illustrations. 你好，你好，你好，你好。那个，请给我们讲一讲这个后面的图是什么？我们没太看懂。Okay, so let's go back forward in this way so that our public can have a better look about this picture behind me. I find it's very important actually to understand this picture. Once you understand this picture, you can understand how the recycle part is done. 请您给我们讲讲这个整个的图景。
这个的大体原理就是新能源汽车退役的电池包，然后进行2次利用，属于循环经济。
循环经济的一种。
和这个最终生成清洁能源产品。
好 so this is actually a circular economy that's also crucial in the recycle part. So we will start from the EV, from the electrified cars. So 我们从新能源车开始，然后帮我们一步一步的讲。我们先到新能源车这块儿来。好，这是我们的新能源车。一般来说，一个新能源车它的电池要多长时间？它的使用寿命？
从时间上来说，5到8年吧。
Okay. Normally, as he replied me, most of the batteries for the EVs, they have a life of 5 to 8 years. 那5到8年之后，这个电池会发生什么呢？ What will happen when we have already achieved 5 to 8 years?
它正常退役下来以后，还有很大的一个残余价值。这个残余价值呢，为了避免这个环境污染和这个资源浪费，它就可以去挖掘这个价值，就是我们说循环经济。然后呢
So 我同时帮您翻译一下。And also, when it achieves 5 to 8 years, what will happen is that even if it can't be used still in the supply part to supply energy, but on the same time, we shouldn't forget, as he said, we shouldn't forget also its residue value, and this is a very important component of the circular economy. 然后我们下面一步。
然后通过技术分析和检测，根据它的状态，我们可以生成不同应用场景下的产品。
OK， 这实际上是有一个把这个电池拆分的过程。
对，用这个电池包也可以直接使用，如果质量达标可以直接使用。然后到模组以后进行检测，如果质量达标也可以直接使用。
Okay, so actually there's 2 parts. The first part you separate the battery pack, and then later you can actually separate from the battery pack to different battery modules. Okay, so if the battery pack is convinced to the use and convinced to your needs, you can directly use this battery pack, or you can reuse this battery modules. 然后呢，我们同时要把它进行这个检测和评估。
对，通过根据应用场景的技术要求来生成相应的产品。
好，再生成相应的产品，那具体可以生成哪些产品？
像这个和这一类。
Okay, so let's take a look here.
这属于家庭储能产品。
What can be achieved and what can be produced with the electrical cars? Because it's still important to notice that 中国大概从什么时间开始大量的去生产新能源车？我们可以看到更多的新能源车从这个市场上出现。
从2010年左右开始，然后全面装配市场大概是从2014年左右开始。
So as he said, China has actually started more innovations from 2010, and I would say the general market and also the commercialization started from 2014. And so now we are 2023. It's already been more than 10 years of development of EVs in China. So I imagine that there are already lots of problems or lots of batteries have been used, that we have now these kind of questions. How can we reuse the batteries? 所以实际上现在我们已经到了一个退役的环节了，尤其是第一代的这些新能源车的电池
已经要大量开始进行退役。退役那就我们需要去把新能源汽车的产业链来给它梯次利用了生成这种清洁能源产品。
清洁能源产品。So this is about the reuse, and 所以您这边现在应该订单很多。
像东南亚、中东、非洲的业务量还是比较可观。
He was telling me that they have a lot of orders from China, from Southeast Asia, from Middle Asia, and also from the central part of Asia and from Africa. 所以我们现在在这边可以看到的是这些电池生成出来的储能类的
和通信电源。
Okay, so we've seen these possibilities about the storage part. How can the batteries be transformed into storage battery? And这个是通信电源类的。This is the power supply for communication and telecommunication.
还有光伏照明类的。
光伏照明类的，这个是光伏照明类的。
是太阳能路灯。
Okay. this is the road route. 但是这个是从前面的这个车里边去
下来以后
从电池里提取出来的。
它这里边有存储能源单元，就是存储电池，这里边有电池。
好，
那这个呢也是一个电池。
OK。
啊，这个就是后面就是光伏，这是照明灯具。
So this is how we can use once that we have the battery being reused, recycled. We can actually install in these kind of equipments. Like this is a land road that you can use in different parts of China across the road to give us lights, illuminate the whole roads and the whole road across to have better road lamp. 那这边的它的太阳能是从哪儿来的呢？
太阳能是单独分开的。
好，实际上它有一个太阳能板，
对，
然后它有一个可以储能的转换到这里面，所以它白天可以接受太阳能的光，然后储能晚上来用。Okay, so when you have a street lamp. The help of these ancient batteries can be used inside and can be reused to store the energy and then to give a supply, the energy supply for the use during the evening and the night. 那我们再往这边来走一走 and then we come to this part. 这个也是一个太阳能路灯。
对，也是个太阳能路灯。这个就是一体的了，这个是电池。 后面就是光伏板。
光伏板 ，OK， 我看一下这个光伏板。哦，这个是一个真的光伏板。
对，这个是用来发电的。
Wow, this is a real photovoltaic panel.
这个是用来发电，发完电以后呢
？So this part, 我给您翻译一下。So this part is to receive the sunlight and to generate the electricity.
存储到这个电池。
好 ，So this part is to store the energy during the day. 所以这边有3个电池。
这是电池，这是灯具，这是可以照明的。
Okay, so this part is the battery that store the electricity and store the energy, and this part is the LED part that can give light. So this is how this works, and this is also how the battery can be reused in the daily life, which means that it can actually go into a renewable and circular economy and circular cycle. From the time that you have a car, we have a battery, and then from the time that we have a battery, we use it for 10 to 8 years, and then even the battery got retired, the components of the battery can't be get retired, and it can be reused in different scenarios in our houses, in different scenarios in cities, also in different scenarios in the energy supply everywhere around. So this is how China is promoting with the collaborations of different kind of technologies, with the cutting edge innovation, with also this, I would say, advantages in the low cost products. We can actually see the advantages of Chinese products coming on the international scene, not only in the innovation, but also in the use and reuse of different components to put it better. So China, we remember that all of the telespectators and all our audience remember that China has fixed its own goals for green development, has fixed its own goals that China will attain the peak of the carbon emission at 2013 at neutrality of carbon emission and at 2060. So I think with all these different technologies that we experience today and we try today, I find it, myself, I'm very positive about Chinese possibilities and China's potential to attain and to achieve these big goals. Because we do have these innovations, we have these possibilities, not only in generating energy, but also in restoring energy and in reusing the energy. So this concludes our direct today. Thank you very much, and I'm looking forward to see you again. I hope that you appreciate it. If you have any questions or any comments, please do leave us messages on different platforms, on Facebook, on WeChat, on YouTube. I hope that you enjoyed the show. I'll see you next time.